You can grieve and still be grateful because gratitude isn't a betrayal of your grief. It really isn't. And grief isn't proof that you're ungrateful. It's really not. You're allowed to feel both. Think about this. How often have you felt guilty for smiling when you were still hurting? Just smiling. How often have you questioned your healing just because the sadness came back when you thought it was finally gone? Too often, right? Been there, done that too. But what if I told you that you can grieve and still be grateful at the same time, in the same breath? I know it is very difficult to believe because we live in a culture obsessed with emotional either or. I know, stop the presses. You're like, what? Let me explain what I mean. In a culture obsessed with emotional either or. So either you're sad or you're strong. Either you're moving on or you're stuck. Either you're grateful or you're still grieving. Emotional either or. We've all been in one of those boxes at one point or another, but real healing doesn't work like that because grief isn't a clean, straight line. It's a spiral, right? A tide, a rhythm. Think of music, up, down. And gratitude doesn't erase pain. It gives pain somewhere to rest. And no, you don't have to pick a side. There's no need to pick a side. For me, I can remember numerous moments when I was on my healing journey, and maybe you've had moments like this too, where I was out with friends or at dinner or just at a party somewhere trying my best to be present. I was smiling and laughing, like we normally do, but inside in here, there was a deep ache, a memory, a loss, a name that I could no longer speak out loud. And then you start to wonder, at least I know I did, am I really as healed as I thought I was? Am I doing this whole healing thing all wrong? But you're not. You're not wrong. You're real. That tension, that's a contradiction in here and up here. That's what it means to be human. So you're not wrong, you're real. And joy, be it a little or a lot, doesn't cancel grief, and grief doesn't cancel joy. They can live in the same room at the same time. And in fact, they often do live in the same room. So brace yourself for this truth that no one has probably ever told you. And when I heard it, it was mind-blowing. So it's going to be mind-blowing to you too. If you didn't know, gratitude can coexist with grief. That is so good. It doesn't mean you're over it. It means you're living through it. You can miss someone and still laugh. You can cry in the morning and dance at night, right? You can mourn what was and still admire what is. It's not emotional dishonesty. It's emotional range. Think of 1 through 10, the range, right? So in other words, you're not broken for feeling both. You're alive. You're human. It's a human thing. You just have to reframe what healing looks like for you. And you do that by understanding and accepting that healing doesn't mean you never feel pain again. Does not mean that. It means the pain doesn't own you anymore. It means you build a life big enough to hold all of it, the grief and the gratitude at the same time. Because believe it or not, you are allowed to light that candle for what you lost and say thank you for what you still have. That's a brave thing to do. You're allowed to weep and give thanks in the very same breath. And that's not confusion. That's completion. That's your full circle moment. So, sis, if you're in that in-between space right now, I've been there, done that too. If you're still aching, if you're still missing, but you're also noticing the joy in those small moments, don't shame yourself for that, right? Don't shame yourself. Don't force yourself out of that space, because that's sacred ground. Let God work in that moment. That's real healing. That's resilience. That's your resilience. So let today, this video be your permission slip, because you can grieve and still be grateful. You can feel the weight of what's gone and still welcome what's here. That is so good to me, y'all. And no, this isn't a contradiction. It's wholeness. That's your wholeness. So if this message met you where you are, somewhere in the middle, share it with someone else holding both light and loss right now. And if you are navigating this quiet storm of battling grief and gratitude at the same time, it's called healing. We've all been there and done that. So drop me a comment below and let me know how it's going for you, because I promise you, I'm holding both. I'm holding both, because you're not alone. And that too is something to be grateful for. So I'm Katie Gates, and this is the place where I help women like you and me become the best people that we can be. If that is your vibe, subscribe to this channel right now, hit the notification bell, and drop me a comment. How are you getting through grief and gratitude, or battling grief and gratitude at the same time? I would love to know. Okay, until next time, I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.